Hello everyone, welcome to the presentation for the Coaching Connection Centre in Wigan. My name is Gary Judge, I'm the Director of Operations at Coaching Connections, and I'll be taking you through the presentation which will talk you through the equipment, facilities and offer at our Wigan Centre. To start, let's meet the team. So we've got Lewis Hurst, who's the centre lead. Lewis has been with us as a member of staff for the last 3 to 4 years. He initially came to us as a trainee teacher, having studied our programme for 2 years. So he's a really good role model for any student. Lewis has been through the programme himself and has obviously gone on to qualify as a teacher, understands the programme inside out and is a very good role model for all of our students. Lewis also has his FA Level 2 as a coach and has been recently graded outstanding as a teacher. Next, we've got Scott Jones. Scott Jones assists us with employability and provides some football coaching at the centre. Scott is a former Liverpool and Blackburn Rovers Academy coach and has his UEFA B licence. He's also owner of a junior football coaching academy called Little Players, which helps to provide work placement and work experience for our students. And due to the experience that Scott has, as I've said, he's a very valuable part of the team in terms of advising students on the best way to get into the industry as a coach. Next, we've got Kieran Kinsella, who's our centre quality lead. So Kieran takes responsibility for more of the enrichment side of the programme, which includes football games and football training. Kieran is also qualified an experienced coach, but as well as that is a fully qualified teacher. So between Lewis and Kieran, they will share the loads in relation to teaching, but Kieran will lead more on the football side and enrichment, and Lewis will lead more on the education side. Kieran has an excellent track record for developing players and work skills, and similar to Lewis, has followed a programme like this in the past himself, so understands the position of the students. We feel it's really important that all of our staff remain vocationally active and they still involved in the industry themselves. They're not just teachers, they're not just people who are going to deliver the qualification and help students to help them get qualified and move on. They're going to give students valuable work lessons and life lessons to help them progress into work as soon as possible. Next, I'm just going to talk you briefly through the facilities and the equipment that we have at the centre. We've got 2 sites that we work across at the moment. So it's Wigan Robin Park and also Winstanley Warriors. So Wigan Robin Park offers us excellent classroom facilities, as you can see in the top left-hand corner. We also have a chill out area or a breakout area where students can eat their lunch, and sometimes we do some lighter activities in that room. All of our students have access to an iPad, which comes equipped with a keyboard. So we can use these iPads in all practical settings throughout the day, but also they're just as useful for learners to process their work and use our dedicated online assessment system, which is called ComSpot. To the right of that image, you can see some of the students uploading some of the data from the GPS vest that we use, which we'll talk about later in the piece. And we also have use of a gym at Robin Park as well. Further over to the right, you can see some of the facilities at Winstanley. We think it's really important that our students have access to both grass and artificial pitches. If any students are going to be going into the semi-professional aspect of the game or the lower levels of football initially, it's really important that they're equipped and used to playing on both grass and artificial pitches. As you'll all be aware, the majority of the pitches at lower league level are still grass. Therefore, it's important that students and players learn to deal with both those surfaces on a regular basis. Just below that, you can see our VO camera in action. The VO camera is a revolutionary camera which records the game automatically without the need for an operator. So as you can see the view that the VO camera provides us, the VO camera is used to record all of our games, and as you can see below, the games are very easily accessible by the students. Recordings are typically available within 2 hours of the game being finished, and then the games are then clipped within 12 hours. So students will have all of the goals available and highlights within 12 hours of the game being played, and then can also log into the system to create their own highlights and their own clips. To the right of that, you can see some of the students using our GPS vests. The GPS vests create a lot of valuable data in relation to the distance covered by players, the fastest speed covered by players during the game, and more importantly to us, how much work they've put in within that game, which can then indicate to us whether the player needs to rest or whether the player needs to put more work in training, which can help keep all our players in peak condition and also help them avoid injuries. Okay, some information on partnerships. We have many partnerships at Coaching Connections, and as I've alluded to before, we feel it's really valuable to have as many partnerships as possible to help our students get into work and get to their desired destination as soon as possible. Most of the partners along the top are in relation to football. So we've got AFC Telford, who play in the Vanarama Conference North. We've got Rochdale AFC, as most of you will be aware of, who currently play in League One. ACFC Academy is Alicante City FC. So we have a academy partner over in Spain that provides our learners opportunities and learners and players opportunities to go out to Spain and work towards a degree after finishing with us, but also playing in the lower leagues in Spain. At the moment, we have 3 players in the ACFC Academy squad of 25, and we hope to increase that in the coming years. To the right of ACFC, we have AFC Liverpool. Just down the road from this centre, obviously, AFC Liverpool play in the Northwest Counties. At the moment, we have 6 of our players that are represented in their first team squad, and we make up all of their under-18 squad as well. So it's a good opportunity for learners to play in the FA Youth Cup when they're younger, or whilst on the programme, I should say, and also to progress into paid football as soon as possible. Hyde United then provide the next step up the ladder from AFC Liverpool. So they play in 3 leagues higher in the football pyramid, and again they offer our players the opportunity to play in the FA Youth Cup. Due to the standard of their team, they tend to get a little bit further in the competition, but the standard between the 2 under-18s teams respectively is starting to get a lot closer. Again, Hyde United offer opportunities for our players to progress into the first team when they're ready, and at the moment we have 4 of our players that are playing for their first team. I should go back a little bit. We've got at AFC Rochdale, we've got 2 players that have recently signed in the last year on scholarships at Rochdale, and 1 player who's part of their first team squad. Going back to Telford as well, we've got 4 players made up in their first team squad at the moment, and we make up all of their under-18 squad as well. Far right is Access Creative. Access Creative are the biggest private training provider in the UK and are owners of Coaching Connections. That means that we are not just a regular sport or football training provider that works with another college. We are actually owned and are part of a group that have direct funding from the ESFA. The ESFA stands for Education, Skills and Funding Agency, and it means that all of our programs are fully funded and there is never any risk of your students or of yourselves not being funded during the program. On the bottom sides of the partnerships, we've got 7 Elite, who are an American company who are expanding and offering opportunities for our players to go over to America. If you go onto our Instagram page, you can see lots of videos of how our partnership is working with 7 Elite in the UK and how it's going to give us further opportunities to take our players and students over to the States during the program and also when we finish. For example, we're hoping to take all of our students to a tournament in Las Vegas or in Nevada, near to which is the state that Las Vegas is in the coming year. Okay, so anyone who joins next year will have the opportunity to go over to Nevada, Las Vegas, and take part in a tournament. MIFA, another one of our international partners, we have a centre with MIFA in Salford, and MIFA invite many players over to play at their site on a yearly basis. So all of our students will have the opportunity to play against mixed national players from Belgium, Spain, Portugal on a regular basis against our MIFA centre. For students who are looking for opportunities in other parts of the world, apart from America and Spain, Soccer Smart are also our partner to assist with that. We believe that if all students consider the world as their marketplace and an opportunity to go into football, then every one of them will get a job in football. If you just consider them working in Wigan, then those chances are very small. If you consider working anywhere in the UK, those chances get much bigger, much better. If you're happy to go and work anywhere in the world, we're confident that Soccer Smart and Coaching Connections can give you the best chance to do that, along with obviously our massive partnership with 7 Elite. Player Tech or Catapult, sorry, are the guys who create the GPS vest. So they're large partners of ours. They're helping all of our students to improve their sports science skills. So they offer regular seminars as part of our programs, so that all students who are interested in sports science can get to know the GPS vest much better and can improve their CV. So they've got a really good chance of gaining analysis work at the end of the program. That leads us perfectly onto our relationship with Liverpool FC Academy. In the last 2 years, we've had 14 different students who've been employed in different roles at the academy. They range from coaching, refereeing, and analysis. Our relationship with the Liverpool's academy is growing, and our students enjoy the opportunities on a regular basis. Just to speak a little bit about exit routes, which I've already spoke about in the partnerships. Typically, we try to direct our students in 3 different pathways: the football pathway, the coaching pathway, and the fitness pathway. The football pathway is generally where all of our students are aiming towards when they first come to us. Most of our students are interested in developing their career as a footballer, but what we try to enrich that and enhance that by giving students awareness of how they can use their own football knowledge to gain scholarships in the States, and their football ability and knowledge to gain scholarships in the States or Australia or other parts of the world or Spain, as we spoke about before. If they get to know the player tech vests and use the VO cameras much more, they can also become experienced as a sports analyst whilst also improving their game as well. The coaching pathway typically involves our students picking up coaching badges whilst they're on the programme. Students in this pathway can become a fully qualified academy coach and can move into PE teaching later on. We tend to try and motivate our students in this pathway by taking them to see the best academies in the country, training facilities, and also providing them with work experience with ourselves, with other schools and colleges. The fitness pathway is for learners who are interested more in the sports science from a physiological point of view. That might include physiotherapy, nutritionists, or sports science placements. Liverpool Academy are a big partner in providing sports science placements, but we also have a very good relationship with the biggest and best sports science university in the country, which is Liverpool John Moores. On this pathway, you can also learn to potentially become a personal trainer, and we enrich this pathway by providing industry experts who come in and give talks to students and also provide demonstrations of how their job and their work evolves. Why would you choose Coaching Connections? So again, as I've spoke about before, opportunities to work and study abroad, which we feel are unique to us, but also we still have some of the best stats in the college sector as well. So these are stats from 2018-19, but these stats have remained static. So they're slightly higher at the moment. So on the left-hand side, 97.4% of our students were successful in 2018-19. That rose slightly to 97.5% in the last year. 52% of our students in the last year have achieved over their target grade. So that means at the start of the course, students were set a certain target grade, and over half of our students surpassed that target grade. Some success stories, again, really quickly. One that's very close to home for you guys. So Reese Cotter is in the first year of studying a degree over in the Georgian Court College in New Jersey. Reese was a student with us from 2017 to 2019. He benefited from 2 different tours that he went away with us as a student. And now, after 2 years studying with us and playing at semi-professional level, he's chosen to go on and take that opportunity at New Jersey, playing at a very good standard over in America and also working towards a degree. Joel Torrance, again, someone very close to home, based over in our Bolton Centre. He was representing Altrincham FC last year, so he's just finished his qualifications with ourselves, but he's still a player at Altrincham, and last year was part of the squad who plays against Portsmouth in the FA Cup. James Lyle, again, someone who, slightly different, someone who followed the coaching pathway. Jay studies our Liverpool centre. He's then went on to study coaching at UCFB. During that time, he spent a year over in America as a summer camp coach. He's working towards currently working towards his UEFA B license, and something that's not in this text here. He's also worked as an analyst at Wigan and continues to work with ourselves at our Wigan Centre. A success story from down in Telford. So Dominic come to us actually with no grades whatsoever, but was successful in the end at gaining a level 3 at the end of his programme. He went on to make multiple appearances for Telford's first team. He then, after a year at Telford, decided to go abroad, and via a link that we'd set up for him, he lived and coached out in Vietnam for a year, then signed a contract with Gold Coast United out in Australia. John has since come back and has took on various different coaching assignments and still plays at a high level down in Shropshire. Matty Reid, again another graduate from the Wigan Centre from a couple of years ago. He's just finished his degree recently in sports management and coaching. There is a video on our Instagram page, and as well as a few other videos of former students. So it might be worth checking them out because they go into a little bit more detail about the experience that Matty and other students had on our programmes. But again, a little bit more on his football. Matty went on to be Ashton Athletics captain in the Youth Cup, and he now represents the first team. Matty was someone who really benefited from our overseas tours, which I'll speak about in a moment. He played and coached in Dubai, Greece and Spain during his 2-year time with us. Another success story is Mark Doran. Mark now works for us as a teacher, but he was a former student at the Liverpool Centre for a couple of years, so pretty similar to Lewis. Very good player and captain for our teams whilst he was with us as a student. He went on to study physiotherapy at Edgehill University, and then after that qualified as a teacher. Mark now works at our Haywood campus and also at Liverpool as well. Lee Carr, another student who again excelled as a student and a player whilst with us. As you can see from the pictures, he benefited a lot from his time at gaining work experience at the academy. He trains with the goalkeepers on a regular basis to give them support or give them a few more bodies from a training perspective. And he's now gone on to be a goalkeeper coach at the academy. Again, Lee, a very good advert of what you can do if you apply yourself both on the pitch and off the pitch. The left hand side there, he has set up his own business in recent years again, which is something that we really do encourage and support students with. His company is called Safe Hands Goalkeeping. If you want to check them out, he has got a page on Instagram as well, so it might be worth a look for any of you students who are interested in coaching or specifically in goalkeeper coaching. International travel, as I've said, big part of our programme and a big way of us encouraging students to explore opportunities in different parts of the world. In recent years, we've travelled to Dubai. As you can see from the photographs, there was lots of football that took place, as well as lots of different enrichment trips, water parks, the beach, etc. So it was a very good tour, and obviously for some of our students who'd never been to that part of the world, it was an excellent opportunity at a very, very reasonable price. We went out to Holland in 2018. If any of you want to go onto YouTube, and if you enter Coaching Connections Holland Tour, you will see a video of that tour. Excellent 3-minute video, which gives you a real flavour of what the guys got up to on that tour, and a real flavour of what a lot of our tours are like. As you can see from the pictures again, a lot of variety went on. There was some tours that they took at local stadiums. They obviously enjoyed the leisure facilities. They played some decent games against Eindhoven, who are a shadow team to PSV. I think they played 4 games in that week as well, and there was lots of training that went on. Fantastic facilities that we played in a really good tour. One of our more recent tours was to Florida for 10 days. Again, if any of you have been to Florida, you'll obviously know that there's lots of opportunities to visit theme parks. We did that for a few days. We played plenty of football. We went to a baseball game down in Miami, so we spent a couple of days in Miami as well. Fantastic tour, and again, after some fundraising and some support from some of our partners, most of the students who went on that tour paid a very reasonable price and a fraction of what they would have paid if they would have went privately. Again, like I've said, there is an opportunity to look at the video on YouTube, so please check that out. Some online learning. So again, just a little bit of an insight into what our classroom environment is like and how it's different. Our dedicated system called ComSpot means that the experience and the progress that you make during the program is very visual. You can always see where you are, not only in your own progress but against other students as well. All of the devices we use at our centres are iPads. So all of our students have the opportunity to use them in class. There are keyboards that accompany the iPads to assist with processing work, but also the benefit is that you can take these iPads outside and you can use some of our software that we'll speak about in a moment on the iPads as well. Again, performance analysis is a big part of our programs. Two of the softwares that enable us to do this are PlayerTech and VO. Excuse me. I'm just going to show you a little bit more about these actual softwares themselves, or the software themselves. So first of all, the VO. So this is a camera that works automatically. So we set it up on a tripod above the pitch, and it records games automatically. That means that as soon as the game finishes, you will have footage of your game, and it will be clipped as well. So we'll just take a look at one of our FA Youth Cup games more recently. As you can see here, here's the footage of the full game. On the right hand side, you've got all of the highlights and the analysis that our coaches have done. So if we just clip into one of these, again, we've got here final third. The narrative here is Aiden should gamble inside the frame of the goal, and it probably results in a tap in. However, we should score from the second phase as well. You'll quickly see how this has been clipped to support Aiden in his development. Here's Aiden here. Could he be a bit more central maybe? And as you can see from the follow-up, probably should have resulted in a goal. So we can provide feedback to students constantly, but this footage, the main footage, can also be clipped by yourself as well and is available, as I've said, immediately after the game finishes. Another one of the tools, as I've said, are the PlayerTech vests. So on our dashboard here, all of our players and our students will have access to this, and when they've used the vests, it will generate a variety of different statistics. So if I focus on one game here, it's just from our Liverpool centre. It will show you the activity or power plays in this case, distance covered by all of the players, sprint distances, player loads, top speeds, which obviously our players like to look at, who the quickest players are. And again, we can go individually into players as well and look at their performance. So Lewis from a particular game here. Again, the distance he's covered, it will tell you if the volume goes beyond 100%. If that's the case, that will indicate that Lewis or another player may have to rest. So we look at an example of that. So we've got sprint distance here. This indicated that there were too many sprints, or the volume of sprints that were done by Dylan during the game are a little bit higher than we would have liked, and that will indicate that some rest is required for Dylan, possibly the following day. I think that's backed up by some of these statistics in here as well. So again, a very, very good tool, very good for those learners who are looking to try and develop their sports science skills, because you'll be able to use this, compare yourself with other students and interpret the data as well. But also as a player, you'll be able to provide some of these statistics to clubs to put yourself in the window potentially to be signed. So back to the presentation. Okay, I spoke a little bit about the PlayerTech vests here. We've also got speed gates and also skills nets as well. So lots of different stuff to keep the variety of training, really high and to mix things up. Okay, just quickly on obviously COVID-19, which has become a big part of everyone's lives. We do follow the FA's guidance and will continue to do so. It is allowing us at the moment to continue training, But again, as and when that changes, we're able to adapt our programs. We were able during lockdown as well to provide a fully inclusive program to all of our students, including one-to-one fitness sessions, one-to-one skills sessions, and also challenges to allow our players to keep training and stay on top of their fitness. A lot of our players also had the opportunity to take home the GPS vests so that they could continue to monitor their fitness and to get some feedback on the stats that they were generating as part of their fitness program. A typical course timetable, and again, this is subject to change depending on what we're doing. The green slots here show what the educational session, how many educational sessions you tend to have, and the red and blue sessions are your practical sessions. So as you can see, it's pretty much 50-50 of classroom and practical and training. You typically have really 5 sessions a week. Blue here being practical qualification delivery, and red being game and enrichment training. If you look at it, really, you've got about 10 hours worth of training and then 1 game at least per week. Depending on how the week pans out, sometimes day 2 will be a game instead of training to allow all players to have at least 1, if not 2 games per week. Okay, just how the courses break down at the moment. These are typically the units you'd work on. Again, subject to change. And again, if you would like a little bit more information, I will show you how to book a one-to-one consultation. But many of the units focus around football and the pathways that we've discussed earlier in the slides. Again, speaking a little bit more about the grades, which we did before, on the right-hand side, it shows that almost 60% of our students achieve a merit grade, 33% achieve the highest grade of distinction, and only 9% achieve the lowest pass grade. Some of the qualities we are looking for in students, and again, probably the qualifications that most employers are looking for if they're looking to take people on: enthusiasm, willingness to learn, growth mindset, which means thinking about every opportunity as an opportunity to learn and not focusing on whether it was a success in that period of time or whether you were unsuccessful. People with a growth mindset will take a defeat and look at the opportunities to learn and seek out opportunities to challenge them, as opposed to seeking out opportunities that are easy for them and they will achieve success. We look for our students to be adaptable. Again, adapting to the different situations and environments they're in, whether that's the position you're playing in the game or whether that's the environment you're playing in or the opposition you're playing against. Proactivity, so trying to look at opportunities, whether it's via your analysis to try and combat a problem before it appears in a game, or again when it comes to your work as well, trying to get ahead of things and trying to be proactive with your workload. Most of all, despite it being number 6 and very important, is being punctual. For us and for most employers, on time is late, early is on time. Accessing higher education. So again, it's important that you understand whatever college you're going to go with, whether you're going to go with Coaching Connections or another provider. It is important to understand what's expected of you. So we spoke a little bit about the grades before. If you want to study sports science or a science-related degree at the best universities, typically they look for 168 tariff points, which means a triple distinction in your grades. Triple distinction star, sorry. John Moores, again, which are a Liverpool University, look for their physiotherapy students to achieve 160 points, working all the way down to Leeds, who for their sports coaching degree students look for distinction, merit. You will learn a lot more about the grades on your individual interviews and how these grades influence those points on the right. Okay, so the next steps at the moment, if you're receiving this presentation or if you're watching this presentation via your school, the next step really will be for you to apply online. That will allow us to then contact you and to set up or invite you to one of our trial events or to speak to you one-to-one. Due to COVID restrictions, some events are restricted, but we are still expecting to put on trials and to offer students the opportunity to practically play during the year. These other steps here show you exactly what should be happening. Obviously, that should say June 2021, but the data in here of where we expect everything to be happening. When you speak to the representative at the Wigan Centre, which will either be Lewis or Kieran, they will give you more guidance on the exact dates for these next steps for this year. And that concludes the presentation. Thank you very much. Please visit our website if you would like to formally apply. Please follow us on any of the social media outlets you can see here. So we've got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and as I said before, we do have a YouTube channel as well.